Welcome back to Pack Mentality, and today we have 12-year vet Becca Koppel on the podcast. I've been meaning to get you on the podcast for a long time. How are you doing today?
I know, it's been a long time coming, doing well.
Awesome. Welcome to the show. Are you excited?
I am.
All right.
A little nervous.
So quick introduction. Becca's been with us for 12 years. She also is on staff for physical therapy at the gym. She helps a ton of our members get through those little aches and pains that you get just from everyday life. And she's here to share her fitness journey with us today. So Becca, ready to get right into it?
Ready.
Let's go right into it. I know. Let's just go. So what first brought you to Red Wolf 12 years ago in the first place?
I had just moved home from Connecticut where I went to college, and I had always been part of a team atmosphere. And so I was working out at 24 Hour Fitness on my own, just repeating our team workouts over and over again. And then I actually went down to semifinals in Del Mar to watch my friend compete and saw the Red Wolf team compete. And I asked my friend, I was like, hey, this looks like a lot of fun. Do you have any recommendations of like fun people you met? And she was like, the Red Wolf team was awesome. I highly recommend checking out their gym, going there. And I was like, okay. So I dropped in, I think for one class maybe. And I was like, this gym is amazing. The environment's amazing. The community is amazing. Everyone was so nice that after that, I was like, sign me up. I'm in.
Awesome. Was that 2014 regionals that you went to? Oh, dang, that was my last regional appearance. That was when I was actually good at CrossFit still. That's awesome. So you mentioned that you recently graduated and you mentioned team also. So tell us a little bit about college, where you went to school, what you did there, what sports you played.
Yep. Yeah. So I graduated from Wesleyan University, which is in Connecticut, in 2013. And I played collegiate ice hockey all 4 years. As a defenseman, had a blast, always grew up playing team sports, playing ice hockey since I was 9. So just being used to that team environment, then I knew coming to Red Wolf, I was like, this is a team, this is our pack, this is what we want to work with. Hold on.
The headphones, huh?
Yeah, I have a very round head. We got to get them to stay.
So you were at 24 Hour Fitness, you were working out there. What did you feel like was missing the most other than the team environment?
Just motivation. Like, I didn't have to go there. No one was holding me accountable. If I didn't go to the gym, no one knew or didn't know that I wasn't there. That it was just like all on me. There was no one else who was like, hey, why don't you come work out with me? Or hey, why don't you do this? No one pushing me. No one kind of challenging me to go up in weights or down in weights. That it was just me, myself, and I. And hanging out at 24 Hour Fitness was not super fun with all the bros. And so I was like, I don't see this lasting long term.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people, including myself, have struggled with that because, I played baseball in college, and I remember when that was over, I was like, what's next?
Yeah.
Because you get so used to that, because when you think about it, that's your entire life leading up to it. If you played college sports, you probably have been playing for a very long time before that, all that leading up to that. And then suddenly one day, just poof,
Yep.
It's over. And then you're like, well, what's next? Because you're so used to the training all the time and the next thing, or like the next competition or the next game, always preparing, always in the weight room training, or always on the field practicing. And then once that's done, it's like, it's really easy to fall off the bandwagon. And so many people I've met who've come to us have had the exact same story. And then CrossFit kind of filled that hole. So I don't know. How do you feel about that?
I completely agree. I think, yeah, it's hard when you get done with college. Your whole identity is being an athlete. And that was my whole identity my entire life. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, you're no longer an athlete. There's no goal to work towards. There's no championship game. There's no practices. There's no nothing. It's just like, okay, go out into society and be a functioning adult. And you're like, what the heck? Like, no one prepared me for this. Yeah. Like, you don't have a coach anymore yelling at you. You don't have anyone pushing you. And like, that was my whole life. Coaches screaming in your face, maybe sometimes a little too much, but like, that's what I was used to. And then, yeah, poof, in an instant, gone, done. And it's just like, okay, go do this on your own, or don't, and just sit around.
Wow. I know. I struggle with the exact same thing, and I think that it's a big slap in the face to a lot of people, even if you don't play sports. It's, even if you are still active, but then once kind of like life hits you, and then once responsibilities start piling up, it's really easy to kind of let fitness or other things fall to the wayside just because of the lack of accountability. And if your friends aren't active as well, then, you kind of fall into that trap.
Oh yeah, it's an easy trap to fall into.
Very easy. Let's go into your first workout at Red Wolf. Do you remember what it was like?
Not hugely. I don't remember specifically my first workout, but I know there are two like kind of distinct memories. One was that Murph was one of my first workouts.
Good Lord.
Yeah. Right after regionals, I think those used to be in May. So it was right after that we did Murph, and I showed up and was like, what did I just get myself into?
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. And then my other workout actually that I remember, that was one of the first ones, was with you. And it was like rowing and double unders, like 10 rounds for time of like 20 cal row, 20 double unders. And I didn't even know what a double under was. And I also didn't know your sense of humor. And you're like, just try them till you bleed. And that's what
Did I say that?
It's something like that.
My coaching style has definitely changed over the years.
It's evolved a little, but yeah.
I can't believe I said that. I guess it was a long time ago.
And it worked for me because then I got double unders day one and everyone was like, whoa, you actually did them. And I was like, well, that's what the coach told me to do. So that's what I did.
Wow, I guess my coaching is that good. I'm going to start bringing that one back. I don't even remember that.
Yeah. Hey, be my guest.
For those of you listening to this, I do have a very awkward sense of humor. So I apologize in advance, but it's much better than me being boring.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, rather have me be boring and monotone and have zero sense of humor, or at least have a little bit of spice to it.
I enjoy the sense of humor.
So thank you. A lot of people don't, including my wife. What kept you coming back on those early days?
Mostly the community, like the coaches and the members were the two big things that you guys do an amazing job coaching. And so just having that external push and that motivation that I couldn't get to myself at 24-Hour Fitness was amazing. And then everyone there was just so willing to be open and take in new people. And coming home from school, like I didn't know many people here in Huntington Beach again, that it was like all of a sudden I had this new group of friends that have become my lifelong friends and that I'm still friends with now, which is awesome.
Yeah, no, you've been here for 12 years and it's so funny to see all of us evolve. And in a lot of ways, we've all changed for the better, but we've also kind of stayed the same, but in a good way as well. And it's really cool that we still have all that bond that we've been through. I mean, we've all been through our own personal ups and downs. We all got through COVID together and all that fun stuff. And yeah, I mean, it's a reoccurring theme that we see a lot with everyone we bring onto the podcast for members. Is that's one of the first things that they always tell me, even in the talks that we have before we even start the podcast, is they always bring up the community. I know it's kind of cliche in CrossFit, but what do you think, in your personal opinion, separates Red Wolf from maybe that would be a little more unique than just your average CrossFit gym or just gym in general?
I think just from your regular gym, I think just the class environment promotes this group mentality of like, hey, we're all going to push each other, that rather than working out by yourself, you're working out with a group and the person next to you is doing the same exact thing as you, that there's this innate competition within just the class setting, that it's like not like competition of like, oh, I'm going to be so much better than you, but just like, oh man, that person just picked up the barbell again, like I better pick up the barbell again. That it just is that inherent motivation that helps you. But I think compared to other CrossFit gyms I've dropped into, everyone's just so open and willing to talk to people at Red Wolf. And it's just, I think, started from the top, from you guys, that you and Caitlin as owners are so open and willing to address anything with any of the members, that I think then the members kind of pick up that vibe and everyone is just like, hey, there's someone new here. We're going to introduce ourselves. Or even just the small things of the fist bumps at the end of class. I feel like that creates such a family environment that I've dropped in at other gyms. And it's like, they don't even introduce the new person, or class is over and half the class is gone and I'm still finishing the workout. That like, I think all the little things that people don't really think about really make a big difference.
Yeah, thank you. And that's something that we've tried to cultivate from a very early time, and something that we wanted to preserve, that we knew that culture was going to be a huge thing that moved the gym forward. And yeah, it's not easy to hold that standard, because that means that we have to hold ourselves to that standard. And believe me, there's days where I'm tired and it's hard to hold that standard. But I think that is what has kept us unique to other gyms in general. So
I agree completely. Yeah. And I can't even imagine how hard it is some days, but the fact that you guys show up and the fact that your whole family's involved in the gym, like we show up, everyone knows and loves the kids, the dogs, everything. It's like, this is a family atmosphere, and it's like you're home away from home. I drive from Irvine now because I'm not going to go to some other gym in Irvine. Like, it would be a lot more convenient, but I'm like, I'm not leaving my family. Like, this is where I work out. This is where my friends are. This is where I want to go to have fun. That it just kind of checks all the boxes.
right. No, thank you so much. That means a ton. Let's kind of go into more like your fitness journey and everything. I'd like to hear about this, but how over all these years, the last 12 years, how has your fitness changed both physically and mentally?
I think there's been a lot of changes. That when I first started, I was kind of in like what I thought was a gap year that turned into 4 years of a gap year, that I had a lot more freedom because I was working part-time jobs, working retail, that I was able to spend hours on hours in the gym, and like became pretty fit, went to comp class when we used to have comp class, and was kind of just like living at the gym. And then got into physical therapy school. Everything kind of did a 180, where then I was going to school 80 hours a week and couldn't really fit in workouts as often as I would like, which then when I started working, I was like, whew, PT school was actually pretty okay. I had more time than I thought. And then working, I was like, man, I'm lucky if I work out just on the weekends. So that was kind of my like rock bottom fitness wise. And then now in starting my own physical therapy practice, I finally found some balance and can get to the gym kind of 3 times during the week and on the weekend. And I feel like I'm finally starting to kind of come back up and see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, no, 100%. I have noticed that you've been making it a priority lately, and it's totally okay. I mean, we all go through seasons of where the fitness is going to be still a priority, but there's something else that needs to happen on top of that. And, I went through that same phase too. I just got over the exact same phase where the last 2 years, I really dove deep into learning more about business practices, a ton of content, marketing, all this stuff for the gym, hence the podcast. It started all that. But then now once you kind of learn it, and once you get settled in and you're over that ignorance debt is how it's been paid, then you have time to go back to that fitness. And so I'm kind of on the same journey as you were. 2025, I finally started making the decision to work out a lot more, and it's already starting to pay off. So how are you feeling lately now that you've gotten a chance to work out more?
Good, really good. I think it's fun. And I mean, we see each other in the gym all the time, that I see you having fun with it again too. And it's just fun to like in the open workout be able to string together pull-ups, which I was like, I haven't done this in a couple of years.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, stuff like that, where it's like, okay. And then people in the gym are like, oh, you're pretty strong. And I'm like, yeah, I used to put up a lot bigger numbers, but like we're getting back there. And
Yeah.
even just the progress slowly getting back there is fun too, of seeing like, okay, yeah, I may be 33, almost 34, and I can still get stronger, faster, all of that.
Yeah, 100%. And one thing I have noticed is that you have retained a lot of your fitness too. It's just a matter of kind of just rebooting yourself. And that's what was great about those 4 gap years that you call it, was that you were able to bank a ton of fitness. So when you did have to go through that kind of downtime, that you had some fitness banked, and then when you came back, you weren't starting all the way from ground zero, rather than someone who took those 4 years off completely from fitness. And that's something I tell people all the time. I'm like, hey, like it's okay to go through seasons, but don't be afraid to be a little unbalanced and really work hard on your health and your fitness, because once that storm kind of comes in and then things start happening, that you have at least something banked for when you do come back. There's some sort of a foundation still that you can come back to.
Absolutely, yeah. And that makes it fun because it's like, oh, I didn't lose everything. I might have lost some, but it's still there kind of waiting for you.
Awesome. What's the most proudest accomplishment that you've achieved? Not only in fitness, but just maybe at Red Wolf.
Whew, that's a good question. Um, I mean, I think most recently, as for like exercise wise, when we were maxing out our deadlift, to be able to beat both Kim and Caitlin was like a miracle. So,
What was this?
like a month or two ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Nailed it. Recent too. I love it.
Yeah. To see, I mean, that's my one strength. So we got to rock it. But to like see the name at the top of the leaderboard is always fun. But I think almost more important than that, my most proud thing is like creating this friend group and community, like being able to go to your wedding, being able to be in Steve and Christine's wedding. Like, it's not just a friendship. These are like best friends and lifelong friends that like I wouldn't trade that for the world.
Right.
That's for sure the thing I'm most proud of. And that's not even something I did. It's something that was just kind of naturally created from the environment.
Yeah, it's so funny that at the end of the day, we all start our fitness journey, especially in CrossFit, to find something that's effective, that's engaging, and that will yield the fastest amount of results in the shortest amount of time. But it's funny that all these other side quests that we go on end up giving us so much more than that. And yeah, I mean, I've made lifelong friendships and met my wife at the gym, and so many people have met their significant others there, or they've met like yourself, like lifelong friends, and then now you're starting your own business, and you're treating the members now, which is fantastic, and everyone has nothing but great things to say about you and how well you take care of them. So it's so funny to see things come full circle like that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And it's nice. It's fun to see it and be a part of it.
Yeah, fantastic. Is there a favorite workout or exercise that you secretly love that you can share with us, or maybe one that you dread? Either one.
I dread anything with burpees and or running, longer running than like 200 meters. I love deadlifting, and rowing. And I think that showed because I think I remember my like 5-year vet workout was DT with rowing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Great choice. That's awesome. So now we kind of touched on, the physical aspect and, the community aspect, on the friendship aspect of fitness, but what has fitness in general specifically helped you with mentally?
I think everything. It's my release. It's my place to just get all the anxiety out and just kind of turn off, which I love the aspect of not like my whole job is programming for everyone else, that I can show up to the gym and just turn off and I don't have to program my own workout. I show up, I get told what to do, I do it. All I have to do is count my reps properly and I'm good to go. That I think just being able to walk into the gym and know, okay, I'm off the clock. This is my time for me. This is my time to interact with my friends. I think that's kind of the biggest thing that it's given me mentally.
Fantastic. No, great answer. Has there been a time where fitness has kind of dug you out of a mental trap or hole?
Probably my whole life.
Really?
I mean, just in my family, I mean, my dad. My dad's a very anxious person, that there's always been a lot of anxiety and just the pressures of society and through family to do well, be the best, all of that, that I think if I hadn't had the outlet, whether it was hockey, CrossFit, working out, I would be the most anxious person ever. And just like, I think all that pressure would get to you, but having this like outlet to let off some of the steam and just having a routine even of like, okay, I'm going to come here and do this, I'm going to do that, is just huge. That I think my whole life, like, I don't know, I don't really understand the people who are like, oh no, I haven't worked out in years, which props to them, but I don't think I could ever be a person like that because it just is so ingrained in my personality at this point.
Right. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us. I think that's helpful for a lot of people because, I deal with anxiety as well. There's so many things that can and will happen that you always kind of play over these scenarios, or to live up to certain expectations or to have certain standards that you want to hit. And a lot of people struggle with this. So if someone's out there right now and they come from like a similar family as yours, or they have deal with similar anxiety issues that we do, what's a piece of advice that you would tell them?
I think just show up, get to the gym and then everything else will be done for you. And that's what I tell everyone, even my own patients for PT. It's like, hey, set an appointment. Like, if you can't hold yourself accountable on your own of like, oh, I'm going to do 10 minutes of mobility a day or whatever it is, like, set an appointment with me. Then you have an hour blocked off and you're good to go. And same thing, I have to follow through myself of like, okay, I'm going to sign up for the 4:30 class so that that reservation is in there, and then I can't back out. And I know if I back out, I'm going to have 3 text messages from my friends being like, why did you take your name off the list? Like, I saw your name on the list. And then it's going to be like, oh, shoot, I should probably show up.
Nailed it. Nailed it. Uh, is there, as someone who's a physical therapist, do you see you see the same results in your patients? I mean, I'm sure a lot of people in this day and age deal with anxiety or like a lot of outside stressors. Do you see that there's a direct correlation of people who you work with who are maybe sedentary or they're just not as active and it's more pronounced in anxiety, or people who are active has less anxiety? I mean, I guess I'm trying to phrase this the right way, but give me your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I don't know if I see any correlation necessarily, because I think everyone's just different and everyone kind of handles their anxieties in different ways. Um, but I definitely think that almost everyone, and scientifically it's proven that everyone enjoys movement. Maybe not, you might not say, oh, I enjoy moving, but like people will come in and be like, oh, I went for a walk and then I felt so much better. Oh, I did the 3 exercises you told me to do and it was a miracle. I felt so much better. That like our bodies are hardwired to want to move. That I think whether you're an active person, so to speak, or not, like your body's going to enjoy that movement and going to have a positive response to it. Maybe 2 days later, you might be super sore, but you're going to release endorphins. All of that's going to happen. That I think it's going to help you whether you think it is or not.
Right. No, I 100% agree with you, because even today I'm really sore. I'm really beat up. I'm really tired. And I was like, I have to do something. And so I stretched for 15 minutes. And then after that stretch, I was like, wow, I actually do physically feel a lot better. And yeah, it's amazing how sometimes where you just have to start with something small and then build some momentum up, and then that will help you. You just got to get those like small, quick wins and everything for that. And now, I guess kind of coming back to where, you were kind of, you were doing 80 hours a week, for PT school. And then on top of that, now you're running your own business and you have all these patients coming in. How do you kind of structure your workouts to make sure that you get those in?
I think just setting aside time for yourself. That like when I first started my business, there were days where like I was like, oh, I didn't program a lunch break in, or like just have patience, that it's like there's no time for me. That I think the same way I can adapt to a patient schedule, like they can adapt to my schedule. That I learned that of like I need to set these times for me, that there's certain days like Wednesdays I know I'm going to be at the 4:30 class, and that's just done deal. I don't schedule patients during that time. That's my time, and that's how it's going to be. And I think just making that priority for yourself is important. And a lot of the times we get kind of sidetracked or like a little too selfless of like, okay, I'm going to do this for everyone else. And that's kind of my whole profession is doing for others, that I need to fill my own cup, as they say, in order to be able to like give to others. So I need to remember to set that time aside for me.
Mm-hmm. And when you were coming back, so, you did take some time off from training or working out as frequently as you used to. Kind of walk us through that journey.
It sucked at first.
I believe it.
That in addition to being busy, I also had an injury and had to get surgery on my hand. So I had to take actual time off for that. So coming back, like not being able to even hold on to the pull-up bar, like barely being able to hold on to the barbells, stuff like that, just really is mentally taxing of like, hey, these are easy skills I used to do before, and now I can't even put my hair up by myself. So kind of going through injury, it gave me a lot of insight into what other people go through and how mentally and physically challenging it is. That journey was small wins, just like you were saying, like really paying attention to, oh my God, today I held onto the pull-up bar for 1 second. Now, 2 months later, I was able to do like 10 kip swings and just really taking advantage of those little wins and little victories. And then all of a sudden they compound and you're like, oh, I'm back to where I used to be, or I'm better than I used to be.
Yeah. No, thank you so much for sharing that, because so many people kind of go through ups and downs, and there's always some sort of a roadblock that is unexpected, that life just slaps us in the face with, and we just have to deal with it and overcome it and find a way to get back into the swing of things. So looking back over the last 12 years of your fitness journey, if you go back in time and give yourself some advice, what would that be?
I think just keep showing up. That you guys do a wonderful job of making modifications that I think, whether it's when I was first coming back after PT school, most of my workouts were fitness. Before that, most of my workouts were RX. Before that, that there's just a modification for every level, that it's like, just show up and do something, even if it's something completely different than the workout that's programmed. But I think you guys do a phenomenal job of providing those options all the way across the board, from beginner to someone like Caitlin who's competing in Wadapalooza. Like, we're all doing some variation of the same workout, that just show up, move, you'll be happy. I promise you'll laugh probably at least once in the class. And so for me, it's like, just keep showing up, that as long as I'm doing something, it's better than nothing.
Right. And, I'm at that stage now too, of where, I'm no longer competitive. I'm not trying to really do anything crazy. So I get in the same mode of where all I have to do is show up, because I know if I just show up, I warm up with the class, I do the class, that I will get the best workout in 1 hour that I possibly can. I can go about the rest of my day and do the other things that are a priority as well. And I think it's really easy mentally to get caught up in just like what you were saying earlier, of not filling my cup and kind of skipping that or letting something overtake it, when really I've been doing a much better job lately of blocking that off and being like, I will do this. And I do end up feeling better. And it's you see that compound over time too. And you not only feel better, but you start looking better, and confidence starts coming back. And yeah, it's just better overall. Let's just say it like that.
Yeah, and it gets easier to do. I think initially, like, putting aside time for yourself is really difficult for all of us. Like, you with a family, business to run, all of that, like, it's really difficult to make that first step, because you feel like, oh, I'm gonna take away from everyone else. But then once you do it, you're like, oh shoot, this is actually benefiting me and everyone else. And it really just makes life a lot better.
Right. No, 100%. Let's talk about the future for Becca. So we covered the past. We talked about where you came from. We talked about your fitness journey. I'm kind of interested to hear what's next for you. What's something coming up that you're really excited about, or anything exciting about that you're currently working on?
Oh, good question. Right now, my current goal is to build a website for my business. So working on that, which is non-fitness related, but that's kind of the biggest thing. As for within the gym, I think just continue following the programming and making progress, because that's the other thing that's so amazing to me, is you guys do such a good job programming. And I think now, being in a profession where I have to program for people and get them better, I'm like, wow, I just show up to the gym and I get better. Like,
How convenient.
yeah. I'm like, it's not as simple as that. Like, there's a lot of stuff that goes into it, but the programming is just so good that I know if I just continue to show up, I'm going to get better in one aspect or another. That I think that, to me, is what the future holds, is just continue to be consistent with showing up to improve kind of on all aspects of my fitness, and then maybe eventually do like a team comp with my friends and get back into that, kind of dabble in that world, but not anything super serious.
Nice. I like it. Totally. Well, that's fantastic. Well, good luck with that. Nailed it. So let's kind of get into some technical stuff, because you're a physical therapist, and this is more for me because I'm super interested. But now that you've kind of worked with people at the gym, you've worked with other clients, and you have experience with this, you have a background, you have a degree in it. What would you say is some tactical things that people could do to prevent injury and also to keep making progress faster in the gym?
I think one, listen to the coaches. The coaches know what they're talking about. So if they tell you to do this modification, or take weight off the bar, or put more weight on the bar if things are looking good, like, trust the coaches, because our coaches here at the gym are phenomenal and they know what they're talking about. That I think that will help people either avoid injury or reach their goals of gaining strength. But I think don't be afraid to modify. That's what I've learned myself, that before it was like, go, go, go. I have to do this even if it hurts. And it's really not beneficial to be pushing through pain just so that you can click RX at the end of the day. It's like, this is your one body you have for the rest of your life. So modify, get stronger, and then eventually you'll get back to that pinnacle of fitness and your body will thank you.
Awesome. Well, great advice. Is there anything else you want to add to that?
Not that I can think of right now.
Okay. Awesome. Fantastic. How has Red Wolf shaped who you are, but outside of the gym?
I think probably just outside of the gym, I would say it's all of those friendships and relationships that I've made, that I know I can rely on the community of the gym outside of the gym. So starting up a business, like everyone's been so open and willing to share advice, stuff like that, that I think just having that almost like trust, that I can rely on these people who are friends, acquaintances, all of that from the gym has really just allowed me to feel good about starting this business and feel good about just being me. That like everyone at the gym is so wonderful that it's not just like, oh, I show up to the gym and that's it. Like even last night we went and got dinner at Marina's after the gym, and like everything from the gym has transcended into the rest of my life. So I think it's not like any like profound like shaping me of, oh, I had this awakening, but I think slowly over the 12 years everything's kind of seeped over, that it's not Red Wolf and then outside life, it's just all one big thing.
Yeah. No, I feel the exact same way. And that's a very good way to put it, because once you kind of get into this, it really just becomes a lifestyle to where it is synergistic. Like your friends are there, and then the benefits are is that your friends won't let you slack off, and so you stay with it with the gym. And people who do go to the gym or do something hard like this together, they're always looking to level up too. They're not people who are looking to be mediocre in life or in the gym either. And having those people around who have a high standard helps at least help me elevate my standard, and that's what helps keep me going. It keeps me growing, keeps me getting better, because I think my ultimate goal in life is to never peak. I always want to be on the upside on something. It doesn't have to be everything or everything all at once, but at least one thing I still want to be climbing the ladder on. So
Yeah, and I think that's huge. And I think that's a great goal to have, that it's like, yeah, you don't want to just settle. You want to constantly be building and growing. And I think the environment that you guys have created at Red Wolf allows that, both in the gym and outside of the gym.
fantastic. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Of course.
So there's a lot of people out there listening to this who aren't athletes like you and me, who played college sports or grew up playing sports, and they really struggle with this, especially the whole integrating into their lifestyle thing, because their lifestyle and all they've known is things on the opposite of where the gym is not part of their life, or their friends aren't active, or their family isn't active. And let's say they're trying to make a change and they want to make this, but it's really hard and they need to get over that first hump or that first obstacle. So what's some advice that you would give them?
Walk into the gym and introduce yourself to someone. Just say hello to someone, which I know, because sometimes I can get really shy, that's really hard. But I can promise you, whoever you say hello to is going to greet you with open arms, maybe not literally, but definitely figuratively, and like throw a smile your way. People will help you. That I think there's a lot of intimidation that comes with CrossFit, which at this point in my journey, I'm like, that's kind of silly, but I know a lot of people do feel that way still about the sport. And at least at Red Wolf, CrossFit is not intimidating. Like half the time, me and my group of friends are in the back joking, laughing, giggling, giving the coach a hard time. That like, it's not like you're going to walk in and everyone's going to be the fittest person on the planet. We don't have a gym full of like all these just like ripped people. There are a lot of very fit people here, but like it's not as intimidating as you think it is. That I think just get a foot in the door, say hello to someone, myself or anyone else will be more than willing to take someone under their wing, explain the workout to them, help them along the way, that just like get through those doors and you'll be set. And I promise you, you'll want to come back.
That's awesome. That's great advice. And let's say that they're really terrified of taking that first step of just coming through the doors. What specifically would you tell them to do to get over that fear?
That's hard. I think you're going to be scared. That I don't think there's any advice to like be like, okay, yeah, it's not going to be scary. I think the ultimate thing is it is going to be scary. You just kind of have to embrace it. And if you're ready to make that change, show up and come. And after that first visit, appointment, even if it's just meeting with you or Caitlin to talk about things, like after that, I think you'll feel the vibes of the gym and really see that it won't be scary the next time. Or each time you come, it will be a little less scary. But I think that's the hard part, is that there's nothing anyone can say that's going to be like, oh yeah, it fixes it all. Like, we can't go pick you up from your house. But I think each time you come, it will be a little less scary. And all of a sudden you'll look back, it'll be a year later and you'll have like a whole group of friends.
Right. No, that's excellent advice. And, I always tell people this too, is that you also have to, if you're looking for actual motivation to actually do it, it's probably never going to come. You just have to really hate where you're currently at and accept the fact you're going to keep getting worse. And so when I do tell people that, it does kind of flip the switch a little bit for them. They're like, well, I don't want to get worse. I'm like, well, by doing nothing, you're going to get worse. So, yeah. So what's it going to be? And they're like, well, I'm going to do this. I'm like, well, there we go. We just made the decision easy then.
Yep.
Yeah, that much easier.
Yeah, I have a 83-year-old patient right now who his whole life has been dedicated to fitness. He was an athletic trainer. He was a personal trainer, all this stuff. But he tells me every time I see him, motivation doesn't drive action. Action drives motivation. And he was like, I wrote that on my classroom wall at OCC. And at first I was like, I don't really get it. And then he was like, you can be motivated all you want. Like, you can sit on your couch and be motivated.
100%.
But that's not going to lead you to walk through the door. If you walk through the door once, you're going to be motivated to do it again. That's where that action drives the motivation, that just repeating that over and over again. All of a sudden it's like, oh man, today I lifted the barbell. Tomorrow I lifted the barbell plus 10s. The next day, that it's just going to keep compounding and driving itself. That just do it.
Nike. Yeah. What's funny is that's probably the greatest sports slogan of all time, is just do it.
Yeah.
And I like how it's just do. Like, it's don't think about it. Don't have a perfect strategy. I think a lot of people too, even if they're not intimidated by it or they're not scared by it, they just get analysis by paralysis. It's just like, is this the right gym for me? Is this something that, I even want to do? And then they just go yo-yo back and forth to the point where it's been like, 5-10 years. I talked to someone the other day. They were like 10 years trying to figure out what they want to do. I'm like, dude, you wasted 10 years figuring out what to do. And then they go, I was showing them some of the memberships and they were like, well, I got to think about it. I'm like, dude, you've been thinking about this for 10 years, bro. Yeah. He's like, well, how am I going to like it? I'm like, you don't. Yeah. You don't know. But doing nothing,
you'll never like any of it.
Like, yeah. I mean, right now you don't like anything. Yeah. And you're not going to know what you like until you try it. So what's it going to be?
Yeah. And it's like, we pay all this money for everything else in life, that I don't understand why for fitness, it's all of a sudden this fear around, oh my God, I can't pay that amount of money. Mm-hmm. That there's such a thing, even for my profession, it's kind of the same as you guys, of I'm a cash-based practitioner and everyone's like, ooh, I don't know if I can swing it. And it's like, well, you can swing it to buy a $10 coffee every day, but you can't swing it to work out or to do X, Y, and Z. That I think that analysis by paralysis happens to a lot of people. And they're like, ugh, that's a lot of money just for fitness. And it's like, well, it can change your whole life. So what do you want? Well, the choice is yours.
I know. And so many people are so timid and they're not willing to commit to something. And it's kind of frustrating, but it is what it is. And I understand it.
Oh, yeah.
But it's funny you bring that up, because the same person who I was talking to, so first it was, I'm not sure if I'm going to like this. And I'm like, dude, you've been wasting 10 years. And they're like, well, and then they immediately came with, well, I'm not sure if I can afford this. And I go, okay, I can help you with that. This is easy. You're already paying how much money for yoga? They're like $150 for yoga. I'm like, okay, you're paying for yoga. Okay, you want to gain muscle? They're like, yes. I'm like, is yoga going to get you more muscle? And they so no. I'm like, okay, right there. And I said, let's X that out. That's $150 right there. How much money do you spend on DoorDash?
Yep.
And then they were like, oh, they're like ballpark about $650 a month. I'm like, you spend $650 a month on DoorDash, and you're also want to lose weight. Like his body fat was above average. So I'm like, you want to lose weight, you want to gain muscle. So what do you think's going to happen when you X out yoga, which isn't going to build muscle? I'm like, it's a great program. Don't get me wrong. Like, do yoga. I'm not saying that to, but like, just try this, X it out, stop eating out, which you're going to save. You're actually going to save more money by joining here, Xing out those two things, and you're going to gain muscle. And because you're not door dashing, you're going to lose weight and you're going to get more lean, which is one of your goals. And he still said no. I was like, dude, I just saved you like $800 a month. Like even without, like, I just gave you financial advice on top of like, you're free. Yeah. And he's like, well, I'm not sure if I want to cancel yoga. I'm like, well, you can always come back. Yeah. I think a lot of people get afraid of this. They don't want to change what their current routine is because they're so afraid that I'm like, this is not a permanent decision. If you don't like it, you didn't really waste any money if you did what I just told you to do. You actually probably I just have helped you save like $200-$300 a month right there alone. Yeah. And you could do both if you wanted to and still save money if you just cut out the DoorDash. Exactly. I was kind of baffled. And when you present people with facts and a solution that's also is temporary, it's like, hey, guess what, dude? You don't like it? Guess what? We don't have contracts. 4 weeks is up, done. Yeah. You can't try something for 4 weeks and take that risk. So, I don't know. That's me and my rant.
Yeah, people still might think CrossFit's culty, that it's like maybe he thought he was signing up for a cult and he couldn't get out, but we're not a cult. He could get out.
Yeah, no, you're welcome to get out.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I had a friend who presented me with like a budget and saw how my whole thing was I would come to the gym Saturday mornings. And then when I was leaving the gym, I would order a breakfast burrito to be delivered to my doorstep so it would be there when I got home, which is like the laziest thing to do, but it brought me so much joy.
Sounds amazing to me, actually.
It was wonderful. And my friend, because I was telling her, I was like, God, I'm just like blowing through money. And she is a financial advisor that she like pulled up a spreadsheet and she was like, just your breakfast burritos alone are like $20 every Saturday, which is $100 a month. Sometimes if there's 5 Saturdays in a month, more than $100. Like, what are you doing? Just drive to the store where you want to pick up the burrito from and get it. And I was like, oh man, you're really right. But like, it just brings me so much joy. But I stopped door dashing them to my door and now I try and cook something instead.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. So as a physical therapist, kind of going off some of these myths of CrossFit, what are the most common ones, and can you debunk some of those for us?
Yes, I actually just saw another physical therapist posted kind of like incidence rate of injury and how everyone says, oh my God, you do CrossFit, you're for sure going to get hurt. False. That's just not true. Research articles show that CrossFit has the same injury rate as just regular powerlifting and or weightlifting. Which both of those, I would have to look at the exact graph, but I think both of those are honestly lower than other like team sports like soccer, basketball, football, stuff like that, just because of the contact aspect of those sports. So I think a lot of people just have this false understanding of like, oh my God, you do CrossFit, you're for sure going to get hurt. No, not at all. You're just as much at risk as anyone else. And especially I think at Red Wolf with good coaching, good programming, you're even at lower risk of getting injured because there's someone supervising you and making sure that you're not being dumb. Other than that, I don't know any other like myths I can debunk. Can you think of other CrossFit myths? And maybe I can give you my opinion.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can kind of go off on the injury one a little bit too, if you don't mind. Yeah. But we've lost more people or more members to pickleball than we have CrossFit. I can say that. Yeah. Any Achilles tears have happened or elbow injuries. That and soccer. A friend of mine who actually owns a CrossFit gym, who's done CrossFit for just as long as I have, almost 17 years now. He tore his Achilles playing just soccer for fun. Yeah. Yeah, but he's been fine. He hasn't never gotten injured doing CrossFit. Yeah, it's wild. And I think CrossFit also prepares you well for those other sports. That's the part people don't think about is that the like constantly varied movements, you're training a lot of different systems, energy systems, a lot of different just like movement patterns as well. Whereas
if you were just doing bodybuilding, you're not going to be training those same movement patterns. Same thing as like, even when I was working in a clinic, one of the guys came up to me and said, "When was the last time you sprinted?" And I was like, not long ago. Like, we did shell runs in the gym the other day, and at hockey I sprint. And he was like, "Oh, I read a stat that like less than 1% of people over the age of 30 have sprinted in the past like 10 years. That I think if you add all those movements together that you do at CrossFit, it's going to help you if you go out and play pickleball so that you're not tearing your Achilles because, oh, I ran the other day." Or same thing for all these other sports, that it's actually going to benefit you and lower your injury risk than it would be raising it up.
Right. No, 100%. That's a great to address as well. I think I saw that same stat. I guess another myth maybe you could debunk is that, especially coming from a physical therapist, is that do you need to be fit before you start CrossFit? Because I get this one all the time too.
No, you don't need to be fit before you start anything. I think that's more the intimidation factor, that I think people think like, oh, I have to be fit because everyone, whether it's 24-hour fitness or whether it's Red Wolf, like people are like, oh, everyone in there is so fit. The only way to get fit is to start, and you got to start somewhere. That I think it's just more so, if you are starting, know how to modify. And that's the biggest thing, where I think it's important to be in that group setting so that you can have coaches to help tell you how to modify, rather than it's harder to walk through the doors at some Globo gym and try and figure it out yourself. That you do not need to be fit to start doing this. Show up, modify it appropriately, and then you will get fit.
Right. Yeah, that it's definitely a smokescreen when someone says that. It's like an excuse to kind of push the decision off to the side rather than kind of facing it head on and to delay it. It's in the same realm as being like, oh, well, I'm really dirty. I need to shower before I shower.
Yep.
It's like, well, how are you going to get clean? How are you going to get fit? You're not going to get fit by doing nothing. And especially it's riskier. It's not only riskier, but it's going to take longer to do it on your own as well. I remember the first time I walked into a gym, I was intimidating mainly because I just had no idea what I was going to do or how to do it. And then, over time, obviously I learned, but looking back, a big piece of advice I would give myself is to get a coach or get some sort of help. Whatsoever, any kind of help would have been better than nothing when I first started. Because I can't tell you how many years I wasted when I first started. I wasn't even benching right. I wasn't benching bad to the point where I would get hurt, but I was benching bad enough to where I wasn't using my chest as well as I could have. And that's why I have a small chest. I'm really insecure about it. Don't make fun of me.
I can see it from here.
Look at it. Don't look at it. Look the other way.
I'll look away the rest of the podcast.
Awesome. All right, Becca. Well, any other words of wisdom from Becca that you would like to share with the audience before we wrap things up?
I think Red Wolf is a place to be. If you're thinking about joining a gym, come to Red Wolf. Come find me if you want to talk about it. We can always talk about anything PT related or CrossFit related, or if you have an injury that you think is like, oh, I can't start CrossFit until this feels better, we can always talk about that. But I think Nike said it best, just do it. That get in the gym. That's what I'm going to keep doing. Just keep showing up and we'll all just keep getting better.
Awesome. I love it, Becca. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And just like how Becca said that she is a physical therapist, she works out of our brick and mortar location in Huntington Beach. So if you do want to get a session with her, please come in. You can talk to me or feel free to DM us on social media or shoot us an email. We'd love to hook you up with her if there's anything kind of nagging that you want to get looked at. And thank you so much for listening today. And do me a favor, if you like episodes like this, if you like the podcast, do me a favor and just leave any kind of review, even if it's a bad review, so that way I know what to make, but at least give me constructive criticism so I can make it better. I would really appreciate it. And also, if you don't want to leave a review or you already have, please do me a favor and share this with a friend, because every time we see the numbers go up in followers and shares and everything, it really keeps us motivated to keep making content like this for you guys completely for free. And thank you so much for listening, and nailed it.